wild, it's wacky, it's slick, it's savvy. It's the Madcap Daffy Fracture Ding-a-ling, ring-a-ding, loony, zany, side-splitting, rib-tickling, slap-happy, scuzzy, dreary, irksome, tedious, banal, pointless, smutty world of...
The Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Let's be real. I'm all about being real. Well, I mean, I'm real all the time.
Dynamic, isn't it?
Jeff Lutz.
Let's be real.
We like it.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Stand by for action.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio. Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz co-hosting. Max Power producing and engineering the show. 869-1240. That's the number for the IHOP hotline. Don't forget, they're featuring the Daydream Berry Biscuit, warm and flaky buttermilk biscuit, split and filled with creamy cheesecake mousse, a mixed berry topping, and topped with purple cream cheese icing. I guess that sounds good, right?
No doubt.
It's hard to read it, but it's darn good. KU number 2 in the polls. Some thought that they would jump to number 1 after their road win against Indiana. Not only have they beaten Indiana, they've beaten UConn, they beat Tennessee, they did lose to Marquette, and they beat Kentucky. Nobody's played a tougher early season schedule than the Kansas Jayhawks, and they're 10-1.
Arizona's played a tough one, but yeah, probably not tougher. It's about the same. Even Purdue has played a pretty tough schedule.
Yeah, they play tough schedules, but nobody's played a tougher one.
You don't think?
Arizona's played Duke, Michigan State, which I thought you hated, although they beat.
Does that have anything to do with anything?
They beat the pants off Baylor. Wisconsin, Purdue. That's who they've played. Good schedule, but not like KU's schedule. Purdue, is that who we just looked at?
No, we looked at Arizona.
Purdue has played Tennessee, Gonzaga, Marquette, and Arizona.
That's pretty good. Those are all top 10 schools.
Well, all the ones I mentioned at KU's played at top 10 schools.
All of them?
Yes.
Okay, my bad.
KU plays in the Big 12.
Indiana's not a top 10 school.
I didn't say Indiana.
Who'd you say?
I said that they've played Indiana. That was a nice win. But the top 10 schools they played are UConn, Tennessee, Marquette, and Kentucky.
Is Kentucky in the top 10 today?
They should be.
They're pretty close, I'm sure.
They should be. How about that?
Yeah, tough schedule for KU. I watched most of that game against Indiana. Never really had a doubt that KU was going to come back.
Really?
Indiana was making a lot of shots that I didn't feel like was sustainable. I figured KU's defense would lock up.
Actually, Kentucky ranked 9th right now.
There you go.
But what an atmosphere in Bloomington.
It was
nice
good.
to see. Good to see that. That's a program that obviously has a very rich history, and it'd be great to see them come back and be vital again.
They're pretty good. They're a little asleep right now, but they could be awakened.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea where you're going with that.
Really? That was pretty straightforward.
Memphis with a nice win over Clemson. They got a nice little 3-game winning streak going, and they played a tough schedule. Here's the games that they've played. They had Jackson State, which beat Missouri, and Alabama State. Otherwise, here's who Memphis has played: Missouri, Michigan, Arkansas, Villanova, Ole Miss, VCU, Texas A&M, and Clemson.
That's pretty crazy.
And they have Virginia next. That might be the overall toughest schedule. And they're only ranked 23rd? Come on, people.
Yeah, well, they lost to Ole Miss, which isn't
they lost Ole Miss by 3.
Which isn't a bad loss because Ole Miss is undefeated, but Ole Miss is about to get a dose of reality in the SEC when they start that, because their wins are not impressive except for the one against Memphis.
Well, they beat UCF. They beat Cal.
Neither of those teams are good.
They beat a very good Temple team.
By 1.
Anyway, there you go. We had a young man that covers the Royals for the Kansas City Star on the show, Jalen Thompson. We'll get him back. I enjoyed talking to him. And the Royals, that AL Central is interesting. I think the Royals have placed themselves in a position
To finish fourth?
where they could compete to win that division.
I don't
They're not
see
going to win
that.
the American League, but that division is winnable.
Not for the Royals.
Oh, it is.
Let's
They've
be
got
serious.
a good pitching staff.
Their pitching staff is okay. Let's not go crazy because they got Seth Lugo and Michael Waka. Those guys are pretty hittable. They're not terrible, but they're not.
They're good pitchers. They're
Okay, well, I'll take
and
Bybee.
if Cole Reagans is the real deal, and if Brady Singer can get back to kind of where he was before last year, they've got a decent pitching staff.
Okay, well, I'll take Bobby Williams, Allen Bieber, McKenzie.
Who?
Bobby Williams, Allen
got
Bieber,
no
McKenzie.
hitting.
We'll have plenty of hitting.
You don't have it, man. Your team doesn't have it. It's the Tigers and the Royals.
The
my
Royals,
friend.
give me a
and
break.
the Twins.
Why do you fall for that all the time? When people go and sign some free agents, you always think. And the Tigers. I mean, I'm not scared of the Tigers.
They had to come up with some kind of an answer for their pitching staff. They've added some bullpen pieces in Will Smith and Chris Stratton.
Gone.
Not bad. Not bad.
Well, they had Aroldis Chapman to start last year. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, and they turned him into
Cole Reagans.
Cole Reagans. At the very least, they can spin some of these people off again at the trade deadline
Maybe.
and get somebody maybe like a Cole Reagans. I like what the Royals are doing, and I haven't said that in a long time.
Okay, well, you can like
and you can get defensive, and the
not
more
defensive,
defensive you get,
but
the
I'm like-
worse it looks for you
But I-
and your guard.
But when it's June 17th and I look at the newspaper, which I won't do, but I look online and see the matchup and I see it's Reagans v. Bybee. No offense to the Royals. All right.
Your team's not any good. You haven't done anything to improve it. You were
Sure we
under
have.
500 last year. You don't have any offense on this
Got
team.
plenty of offense.
No, you don't, Jeff, if you're being realistic.
No, I am being realistic.
Who are your hitters?
Josh Naylor, Jose Ramirez,
That's two.
Bo Naylor, Andres Jimenez will hit, Stephen Kwan will hit. I think Gabriel Arias will hit, Kyle Manzardo. The offense, if they get one outfielder, they'll figure it out. And the
Nobody's heard of
offense-
any of those people.
And the offense, by the way, in 2 years will be electric.
Oh, God. I almost feel bad for you. You know, you're not capable of looking at things realistically.
I am looking at it realistically.
I don't think you are. You think you're the favorites to win
I'm
the
not saying they're the
Central?
favorites,
Who
but
is?
but to probably
Who's the favorite?
Minnesota's
No,
probably
they
the
lost too
favorite.
much pitching. They're not the favorite.
They've
They
got
lo-
all kinds of pitching in their organization.
I don't think they are the favorite.
Well, then Cleveland would be.
You think Cleveland should be picked second behind Minnesota? How much would you like to bet right now on December 18th, before even the new year gets here, that Detroit finishes ahead of Cleveland?
Cleveland will finish ahead of Detroit and Kansas City for $125.
All right. No, I just want Detroit.
Fine. And I will pay you 100. I will pay that.
Good.
fee.
You should,
I will.
because Detroit has a better ball club.
I don't see that. I just don't see that.
I do. Who'd they just add to their pitching staff?
I don't remember. But I know what you're talking about. I know they added somebody.
Well, a pretty decent pitcher to join that staff. I like that team.
Good.
I don't know why you get defensive about
I'm not
it.
defensive, but to
I'm
act
just
like
trying to have a conversation. You're jumping down my throat.
they
I
added
don't think
Andrew.
the Cardinals are the favorites.
They added Andrew Chafin.
No, they added a starter.
Kenta Maeda is their starter. They added.
You know what I'm talking about. Get with the program. They added Kenta Maeda and who else?
I think that's it. I don't know.
Well, they got Casey Mize. They got Matt Manning, Kenta Maeda. Who else is in their rotation?
Scooble.
Scooble, who's very good.
Olsen.
They got a decent rotation.
Yeah, good for them. I'm happy for the Tigers.
I don't know why you get defensive about
I'm not
it.
defensive, but to
I'm
act
just
like
trying to have a conversation. You're jumping down my throat.
they
I
added
don't think
Andrew.
the Cardinals are the favorites.
They added Andrew Chafin.
No, they added a starter.
Kenta Maeda is their starter. They added.
You know what I'm talking about. Get with the program. They added Kenta Maeda and who else?
I think that's it. I don't know.
Well, they got Casey Mize. They got Matt Manning, Kenta Maeda. Who else is in their rotation?
Scooble.
Scooble, who's very good.
Olsen.
They got a decent rotation.
Yeah, good for them. I'm happy for the Tigers.
Trying to have a conversation. You're jumping down my throat.
They
I
added
don't think
Andrew.
the Cardinals are the favorites.
They added Andrew Chafin.
No, they added a starter.
Kenta Maeda is their starter. They added.
You know what I'm talking about. Get with the program. They added Kenta Maeda and who else?
I think that's it. I don't know.
Well, they got Casey Mize. They got Matt Manning, Kenta Maeda. Who else is in their rotation?
Scooble.
Scooble, who's very good.
Olsen.
They got a decent rotation.
Yeah, good for them. I'm happy for the Tigers. Really am.
No, you're not. You don't like the Tigers.
No, I hate them, but hey, they got Kenta Maeda.
I'm not. You know who the favorite is in the National League Central? In my opinion, the Cincinnati Reds. I think they are lined up, if they do this right, to be good for the next 5 years.
I think they'll take a step back.
I don't see it. Not with that talent. Now, normally, they're rookies and they'll have that sophomore slump. And
Not saying that, but
they've got too much talent.
they've got a lot of talent, but I think they'll take a little bit of a step back. What pitcher did they get?
Nick Martinez.
Somebody else, right?
Well, they got a pretty good staff. You know, they didn't need. They've got Hunter Green. They've got Lodolo. They've got
Andrew Abbott.
Ashcraft and Andrew Abbott. I mean, come on. I mean, that's a good team.
It's a good team. I think they'll take a small step back, and then in 2025 they'll really hit it.
Well, I hope.
Or they might take a huge step forward.
They worry me.
That team's a little bit volatile, in my opinion, but we'll see.
Pirates are coming up. They're
Yeah.
going to be okay. They're getting better. Cubs will figure something out. They didn't bring Craig Counsell in not to win. And the Brewers still have Corbin Burns.
As of today.
And they always figure it out. So, I don't know. The Cardinals need to improve still.
I would say the Cardinals are the favorite.
No, I disagree with you. They don't have enough pitching yet, especially in their bullpen. If something were to come across the wire today that they somehow managed to trade for Dylan Cease, then we can have that conversation.
So then what do you do with your 5 guys? And Matz goes to the bullpen?
Matz goes to the bullpen.
All right. Well, good luck.
Or you have a 6-man rotation. You figure it out. That's what you do.
That's what you do.
Drives me nuts. I'm churning every day. Nervous wreck.
We're going to pick post-World War II second baseman.
Well, that's what the MLB network did. They left Bob Gibson off their right-handed or their pitching.
Is he one of the top 9 pitchers
my
ever?
God. Are you serious? Are you really asking that question?
Yes.
Of course he is.
There's no shame to be the 12th best pitcher of all time, okay?
Of course he is. You don't think he's better than Clayton Kershaw? Give me a break.
No.
You honestly can sit there and tell me that?
Yeah.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Okay. I don't know how you figure. Clayton Kershaw won, 3 Cy Youngs? For the first 10 years of his career, he was basically unhittable. His ERA, I think, career is still in the 2s and not the high 2s.
Randy Johnson, number 1. All right, whatever. They had Clayton Kershaw at 9. Koufax, Pedro, Clemens, Maddox, Spahn, Seaver. Seaver and Gibson were right there. And I'm going to tell you, I know you don't care about postseason. When Gibson pitched, there was no division playoffs.
You take my...
You go to the World Series or you sit at home. And Gibson went to the World Series 3 times. He started 3 games in each game of the World Series. He finished all 9 games.
Okay.
Can you even imagine that?
Yeah, I can in 1960.
And he went 7-2 with an ERA under 2. He set the all-time record for 17 strikeouts in a World Series game. He's arguably the greatest World Series pitcher. Now, Whitey Ford pitched in 10 World Series, which is crazy to think about. But Gibson's numbers, he's arguably the best all time in the biggest games played.
Okay, well, most of those guys you named have been part of World Series championships and done good things.
Give me a name.
What do you mean give you a name? I don't have any idea what you're asking me.
Give me a name of one of those pitchers. Do it now,
Greg
immediately.
Maddux.
Let's see what Maddox did in the World Series.
Yes, let's.
All right?
Yeah.
In the World Series, and I love Greg Maddux. He certainly belongs on any list. But in the World Series, Greg Maddux pitched in 3 of them, 2 and 3 with a 2.09 earned run average.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, 38 innings pitched, 18 strikeouts. Gibson struck out 17 in 1 game. 1 game.
Greg Maddux wasn't a strikeout pitcher.
You understand what I just said?
Yeah, and Greg Maddux threw a shutout in like 73 pitches or something.
Not in the World Series. Give me another name.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Tom Seaver.
Seaver. Again, a guy that tremendous pitcher.
Was he in what, 1 World Series?
He's a great pitcher.
2?
Here's what Tom Seaver did in the World Series. Now, you understand I'm talking about the World Series.
Yeah, I get it. I know what the World Series is.
Boy, it's hard to find this stuff. Takes forever.
You're past it.
He pitched in 2 World Series. He was 1 and 2 with a 2.70 earned run average.
Okay.
Who else? Give me one more.
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson.
What, was he only in 1 World Series?
Don't worry about it. I'm looking it up.
By the way, I think he was pretty darn good in
but
that 2001.
That's good. You pitch 50 years and you get to 1 World Series. Congratulations, Randy.
Yeah, well, of 4% of the roster, and he should be leading the team to the World Series every year.
He pitched in 1 World Series. He was 3-0. His overall record in the postseason was 7-9.
ERA
3.50. So there you go.
There you have it. Most of those guys pretty darn good.
Yeah, they were. Gibson's better in the World
Series. Who is he better than on that list?
All of them, as far as I'm concerned.
So he's the number 1 pitcher.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm not just saying that.
I'm not arguing with you.
The most dominant
You're wrong,
pitcher I've
but
ever
I'm not
seen.
arguing with you.
Tom Seaver, whatever.
More dominant than Pedro?
Yes.
Please.
Better pitcher.
No.
Pedro would tell you so. We'll take a break, come back, and talk about our Bob and Jeff draft. Best second baseman since the World War II.
I need a piece of paper.
A long time. We'll get it done after this.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Max has some Christmas music for us this week. This is Keith Richards. Run, run, Rudolph. All right, second baseman, Jeff has determined we've already done. I don't remember that, but Jeff.
I do.
Jeff says we've already done second baseman in the Bob and Jeff draft. So we are calling an audible to third baseman. Jeff's going to flip the coin, and I will call it tails. It is tails.
Okay.
I don't like that, so I'm going to defer to you.
Okay, well, I'll go second.
No, I'm deferring.
Yeah, you're deferring the choice, which means I make the choice.
No, you pick.
Wait, what? I'm picking?
Yeah, you get the first pick.
Well, then I'm taking Mike Schmidt.
That's a good pick. I don't think he's overwhelming enough to carry the day.
Probably not, but he's the best.
So I'm taking, as you like to do, understanding your audience, George Brett.
Well, that's probably your ball game.
And Brooks Robinson. That probably is the ball game.
Well, George Brett, I mean, that's probably who I should.
Brooks Robinson, give me a break. Who are your two picks now?
Chipper Jones and it's between two. Who's better?
Well, there's an obvious one.
There is, but the other guy's obvious to me too. Hey, I'll just take Eddie Matthews.
Who could you possibly even think was in the discussion with Eddie Matthews?
Well, I'll tell you if you don't take him.
I will take, as my third baseman, since World War II, it gets a little tougher now. This is not a position that has produced a lot of talent. I will take Adrian Beltre.
That's who I wanted.
Who I believe will go in on the first ballot into the Hall of Fame.
Well, of course.
And Wade Boggs.
Okay.
Max will be asked to pick a winner at the conclusion of the Bob and Jeff draft, and then we'll put two of them out on Twitter and see how that goes.
What
the
other
other
one?
You, Jeff? Oh, the one we did on the AFC West quarterbacks.
No.
Try to keep up.
That was a long time ago.
It's like talking to an old man. I mean,
I'm going to take Alex Rodriguez.
No.
What do you mean,
Not a third baseman.
What are you talking about? He was a third baseman for 12 years.
No, he's a shortstop.
No, he's not. I'm taking Alex Rodriguez.
Wait a minute. You don't just get to make that decision.
He played far more games at third base than he played at shortstop.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I know so.
Once he got to the Yankees, yes.
Okay, and then he played about 12, 13 years with the Yankees.
Where do you find that, by the way?
Splits. Oh, defense.
There it is. Shortstop, 1272. Third base, 1194. He's a predominant shortstop.
Third base, I'm taking him.
Max, are we allowing that, even though he played the bulk of his games at shortstop?
Yeah, I would say
Max,
Alex Rodriguez is
No.
a shortstop.
That's
Thank
the
you.
dumbest
He came
thing
up
I've
as
ever
a
heard.
short.
Thank you.
They stuck him at third base because they had Jeter.
That's the only reason.
Okay, well, I'm taking Cal Ripken Jr. then.
Surprised you didn't take him earlier.
Well, he's not a third
Wait
base.
a minute. You can't take him
He
either.
came up as a third baseman.
Wait
If
a
that's
minute.
all that, no?
Why are you trying to bend the rules here?
Well, that's Max's rule. He came up as a third baseman. So I'm taking him.
Why are you doing that?
That's Max's rule. I'm just following Max's rule.
No, this is outright blatant cheating.
How is it cheating?
Cal Ripken played, my God, it's not even close. Cal Ripken played 2,300 games at shortstop and 675 at third.
Came up as a third baseman. That was Max's rule. Max, was that not your rule?
Why do you get so worked up?
Well, because I'm trying to follow the rules, and if they keep changing on me,
Do
No,
you
that
have to
was
play
that wasn't
the-
the rule. It was they stuck him at third because they had Jeter. He's played all
Okay,
that
well, they should
You have
shortstop
to
in
play
Seattle.
the majority of your games at this position.
so I get neither of them, Max,
Right.
because of two different rules that you've now changed.
No, it's not. Max isn't making the rules. You have to play the majority of your games at the position.
Anybody who says Alex Rodriguez isn't a third baseman is absolutely insane.
Who you picking?
He played 13 years.
Played more games at shortstop.
I'm not picking anybody.
Who you-
This game is being played now under protest.
Okay, but you still got to pick.
You will put that on Twitter that I'm playing under protest.
When did Cal
Who
play
you picking?
third?
He came up as a third baseman.
Who you picking? What a baby.
Well, I'm trying to follow the rules. Well, he came up as this, but he played that. He didn't do that, and he played. Then he moved
Boy,
him, and
you
they
couldn't look
and they
worse
switched
to
him.
our
And then,
audience.
like, how many rules do I have to
You
follow?
couldn't look worse to our audience.
What do you think, Bob?
Nick,
If you asked people on the street, was Cal Ripken? Do you remember Cal playing third base? Nobody would remember.
Barely remember
No
him
one
ever
would
playing
remember.
third
I don't even
base.
think Cal would remember.
Yeah, just started there in an All-Star game. I'll take Edgar Martinez.
Edgar Martinez. Let's check him. Did he DH more?
Of course, but you're talking about defensive positions.
Next.
Edgar Martinez. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely insane.
Well, you don't think I would have taken Alex Rodriguez?
No, I know you wouldn't have. And I'll take Manny Machado.
Up.
He's
I
a
better-
third baseman right now. I mean,
better
how
check
stupid.
that. You keep
This is the dumbest game in the history of the world.
you keep bending the rules, man.
He's literally a starting third baseman in the big leagues now.
The rule is where'd you play the predominant number
Well,
of
his
your
career
games.
isn't over, so I'm going to assume that third base.
Right now, Manny Machado has played 1289 at third, so you're good. All right, good job.
God, you're the worst. Those are my picks.
Well, that you've got
These
two more.
rules.
I've got my next two are going to be. I'm just going to keep it in the family. Scott Rowland, Nolan Arenado. Oh, how good is that? I actually got excited making those picks.
This is the stupidest. Third baseman play all over the diamond.
You got two picks.
Chipper
right here.
Jones played left field.
But he played most of his games at third.
George Brett went over to first. I mean, this
played
is
most of his games at third. That's the rule. Next. Oh, I've dominated him, killing him.
I
Who are
hate
your
ev-
picks.
I hate this. I'm not picking anymore.
Who are your picks? Quit being like that. Quit being such a poor sport.
Well, this is so stupid.
Who are you picking?
I can't take A-Rod because he only
Just
played
make
thir-
two. Please make two
he
picks.
only played 13 years at third base. So stupid. And he ended his career as a third baseman, by the way, for 13 years. I will take Greg Nettles,
Nettles.
who
And?
should be in the Hall of Fame, and Ron Santo, who is in the Hall of Fame.
There you go. Nice picks.
Shut up.
I will take Ken Boyer as we continue down that cardinal path of third baseman. And my final pick at third base is a little more difficult. It's harder. It's a little hard to find that player. Man, it's gonna be Bill Madlock.
Really?
Yes. You don't think Bill Madlock's worthy
No.
as a number 8 pick of third baseman? My God, you must be crazy. Bill Madlock played a long time.
Was he even a primary third
Of
baseman?
course he was. That's all he played. He played third base 1,440 games. Everywhere else, just over 200. And he finished his career with 2,000 hits and a 305 batting average. Who's your
Good for
final
him.
pick?
I don't know yet. Has Heine Groh been taken?
Who's your pick?
I'm just going to go David Wright.
David Wright. That's the wrong pick for the
Who
wrong
would you have
time.
taken?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Matt
exactly.
Williams, somebody.
Matt Williams.
Here are Jeff's third basemen: Mike Schmidt, Chipper Jones, Eddie Matthews. That's a very good top three.
Then I had
Edgar
Ripken
Martinez,
and A-Rod.
Manny Machado, Greg Nettles, Ron Santo, and David Wright. My third basemen are as follows: George Brett, Brooks Robinson, Adrian Beltre, Wade Boggs, Scott Rowland, Nolan Arenado, Ken Boyer, and Bill Madlock. We go to max power. I think this is relatively close, actually. Who do you have, Max?
Are you basing this on fielding or hitting, or both?
We're basing it on the overall game. Lots of gold gloves in this group.
Jeff's got a lot of power.
Lots of MVPs in this group. Jeff does have probably more power. I've got Brooks Robinson, Scott Rowland, Nolan Arenado, arguably the three best ever at their position defensively.
Well, Adrian Beltre was pretty darn good, too.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I like power. I like Jeff's list. I like power.
Thank you.
It's the dumbest pick
Bo-
I've ever
Boggs
heard.
and Brett.
He
Boggs
took
and Brett were
1,100 homers
basically
from me.
Boggs and Brett were
That's the
basically
dumbest-
singles hitters.
That's the
and
dumbest pick I've ever heard.
Brett played in that cement.
Is Edgar Martinez in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
You've got four Hall of Famers.
5.
Who? Who's your
Santo.
fifth? No, you got Schmidt. Is Chipper in?
Of course.
3, 4, 5. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, with two others ready to go in at any moment.
Well, Machado has as good a shot as Arenado.
Max, you're fired. All right, we move on. We'll put that out on Twitter. Craziness. Absolute craziness. Thankfully, George Brett will carry the day for me. And thank you, George.
I was cheated again, but, this is what happens.
Thank you, George.
When MLB Prime 9 or whatever did their shortstops, did they have A-Rod on it?
No.
Was he on their third baseman
No,
list?
didn't
You
make any.
have no idea.
The new license plate design has been unveiled. A landslide election. You'll find it on Twitter. To the stars.
The one with the capital on
Yeah,
it.
it's got the cap. No, does it? Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it does.
It's kind of the colors are whatever.
I'm uninspired. I am one of the few people who liked the original. I thought if I saw that on the road,
the people in Northeast Kansas weren't going to allow that one.
What's wrong with?
Because it was Missouri colors.
It was blue and yellow.
No, it was black and yellow. It was Missouri colors.
It was blue and yellow.
They weren't going to allow it. So I'm just telling you. Those of us here in South Central Kansas would have been fine with that.
But again, it was blue and yellow.
No,
I don't know
it was black.
I don't know where people come up with this black stuff. There was no black on
It
that.
was black and yellow.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, why would there be black?
It was
our,
black.
Our license
Black
plates
and yellow.
Our license plates have always been blue.
That's what it was.
No, it wasn't.
You're having a bad second hour.
I'm sorry that
Whiny.
you are colorblind.
Whiny, just kind of out of it. You sound like a little spoiled brat.
Well, you sound like an idiot who doesn't know colors.
I mean, that obviously.
I don't see the black on this.
Let's see it. Show it to me.
Well, it's
Now you're backing off.
no because
I know you. Show it to me. That's
blue.
as black.
That is navy blue.
That's as black as anything can get.
Look at that.
That's the darkest.
Look at that. That's blue.
That's the darkest shade of black
That is blue.
you can possibly get.
And I'm sorry that you're not smart.
Jeff, just take a loss.
It's blue. I'm looking right
I'm
at it.
serious. Just say, you know what? I was wrong. It's not hard.
I'm not wrong. It's blue.
My goodness, you couldn't sound more spoiled. And I didn't spoil
Spoiled?
you. Yeah, like a
Based on
spoiled
what?
little brat.
What am I?
Yeah, it's black. Hey, A-Rod played third.
He did.
I mean, it
For
just
13 years.
Everything you've said in this second hour has been whiny,
Second hour.
spoiled. There it is.
In this second hour.
Second hour. Okay, you don't
Max Power.
You don't even talk right. You sound like a little brat.
Good.
And I'll slap it right out of you.
Bring it.
Good grief.
Black.
Let's see. Of course it's black.
Wrong.
Let's see how the vote's going on third baseman as we check Twitter. I just put it up a moment ago, so only 2 votes in. It's tied right now.
Not for long.
1-1. Hopefully people will vote. Go to Twitter at Bob Lutz, at JLutz82, at KFH Radio, and you can vote on our drafts. Tomorrow on the show, Paul Mills, head men's basketball coach at Wichita State, Kevin Saul, athletic director at Wichita State, but not in the same segment. We got them back to back.
That's cool.
So we catch them in a telling us something we don't necessarily agree with. We'll ask the other one about you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't.
you know what I'm saying. Of course, both wonderful individuals who would never try to mislead us. We'll also have a game tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, 3-man booth. On Friday, our Christmas Treasures, Wichita Treasures show with Brent Chemnitz. Do you have any treasures? Have you gotten to that stage of life where you
haven't really thought about it? Haven't really thought about it yet.
Well, hopefully you will. Give it some thought as we head into the week. Busy week for yours truly. You got a Christmas party tomorrow night. Lunches, Christmas things.
What Christmas party you got?
I'm
not going to tell
not gonna tell you.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you don't need to know.
Max Power, I'll tell you.
If you needed to know, I'd tell you.
Well, I don't need to know. I just
Yeah.
asked.
And I knew you would.
Okay, I'm never going to ask again.
What Christmas party do you have?
Never going to ask again.
I
I'll
might
just-
like to go.
Don't care about going. Certainly don't want to go, but
Well, I'll tell you off the air.
nah.
All right, I won't tell you.
Nah, I'm good.
Well-
I'm much more interested on the air than I would be off.
Really? You don't care off the air?
Mm,
Don't care what kind of
I mean, if you want to text it to me later, I'll certainly
No, I'm not going to text it.
look at
We
it.
got your birthday dinner coming up this week
Yes.
on Thursday. Did you fill the tables yet?
Yeah.
Who do we have?
Well, I sent you the 9, and then I allowed Aaron to bring someone.
Aaron's bringing someone?
Yeah. Don't
Well,
want
that's
her
only
to.
11.
That's 10. We got 10.
Aaron's bringing someone.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. You know, I mean, they'll sit over there and huddle by themselves, and then
No, I don't want Aaron to feel left out, but you'll be able
she's
to.
an adult now.
You'll be still able to talk to, but she's
She's an adult now. You
she
better
doesn't
be able
want
to
to talk
hang.
to a bunch of 40-year-olds and 80-year-olds.
You better. I'm not 80, and you better
Sorry.
be able to hang with me.
It's not-
If you're on the cusp of 18, I'm speaking your language. Seriously.
That's funny. That's good.
I'm talking directly to you.
You're not.
I can go right at you.
I don't know what that means.
That means we can talk.
Why would you go right at
Well,
somebody?
you just talk. I can hang. My goodness. All right. Thank you for listening, everyone. We will be back tomorrow. Appreciate you coming along with us. Have a good night.